What India must know about China, the silent rival of the 21st century. Hello. Today we take a different perspective to discuss why India must carefully observe China. India is currently recognized as one of the fastest growing nations in the world. At the same time, the silent yet immense presence of China, its greatest rival in the 21st century, cannot be overlooked. This script will provide an in-depth analysis of China across 5 major domains: politics, economy, technology, defense, and diplomacy, while exploring the strategies India must adopt in response. Politics strength through control, but at what cost? 1. Since 1949, China has maintained a single-party communist regime. The Communist Party holds control over all state power, including government administration, military, judiciary, and media, offering advantages in policy enforcement and long-term strategic planning. 2. However, excessive centralization of power has led to fatal weaknesses, including distorted information, suppression of dissent, and lack of institutional checks and balances. In 2022, during the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party, President Xi Jinping secured a 3rd term, creating the most centralized leadership since Mao Zedong. 3. While India may appear chaotic, its system allows for power transition, freedom of the press, and regional political diversity, providing mechanisms for self-correction. China's structure may show efficiency in the short term, but it risks accumulating internal unrest and fragmentation in the long run. 4. The pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong and human rights issues in the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region are representative of the repressive tendencies within China's political system and the resulting backlash. Economy from world factory to global power hub. 1. China is now the world's 2nd largest economy, GDP approx. $17.5 trillion, leading the global market in manufacturing exports, rare earth supply, and solar panel production. 2. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, China has established economic partnerships with over 140 countries, expanding its geopolitical influence. However, this has also been criticized as debt trap diplomacy by several nations. 3. China's economic growth model is characterized by massive government-led infrastructure, investment, real estate-centered asset expansion, and export-driven strategies. Recently, however, it faces structural limitations such as a declining real estate market, rising youth unemployment, and an aging population. 4. India should reference China's infrastructure and manufacturing strategy without blindly imitating it. What's needed is a model centered on sustainable domestic consumption and innovation-based industrial development. 5. While China is a technological powerhouse, foreign corporations still perceive regulatory uncertainty and state intervention as barriers. India must capitalize on its openness and predictability to attract global investment, technology, AI, surveillance, state births, open tech ecosystem. 1. China has strengthened state control through AI-based facial recognition, social credit systems, and smart city infrastructure. These technologies serve more as tools of surveillance than progressive innovation. 2. While China boasts global tech giants like Huawei, Tencent, and DJI, many of these companies have close ties with the state and are viewed internationally as vehicles of digital infiltration or espionage. 3. India has produced a vast number of world-class IT professionals, employed at companies like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. In terms of software-centered capabilities, India is already a global leader. 4. However, there remains a gap in hardware-based technologies, semiconductor production, and AI research. India must invest in R&D and foster public-private collaboration to achieve technological self-reliance. 5. Cybersecurity is another key issue. China's offensive hacking capabilities are among the world's most advanced, and India must simultaneously strengthen both civilian and military cyber defense. Defense expansion by numbers and maritime influence. 1. China possesses the world's largest standing military proxy, 2 million personnel, and its 2024 defense budget is about $225 billion, second only to the United States. 2. China pursues an aggressive and clearly preemptive strategy in regions such as the South China Sea, Taiwan, and the Himalayan border. The 2020 Galwan Valley clash is a stark reminder of the ongoing tension between the two nations. 3. Through naval expansion, China is attempting to extend its influence into the Indian Ocean. Its use of ports in Sri Lanka, Hambantota and Pakistan Gwadar for strategic purposes poses a serious threat to India. 4. India, as a nuclear-armed state, maintains strategic deterrence through defense cooperation with the US, France, and multilateral military partnerships such as Quad. India is actively counterbalancing China's regional ambitions. 5. Given its quantitative disadvantage, India should focus on asymmetric capabilities, cyber warfare, hypersonic weapons, and AI-powered defense systems. Diplomacy power-centric versus trust-based foreign policy. One China has leveraged BRI to win over developing nations, but is often criticized for neo-imperialist pressure. In contrast, India emphasizes horizontal cooperation with Africa, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. 2. As chair of the G20, India has emerged as a representative voice of the global South, maintaining a diplomatic strategy that simultaneously engages with the US, Russia, and the EU. 3. Whereas Chinese diplomacy is heavily economic and security-oriented, India highlights collaboration in education, culture, health, and technology, fostering partnerships built on trust. 4. The India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor (IMEC) is viewed as a practical alternative to BRI, offering India a strategic role in controlling major maritime routes in the Indian Ocean. Conclusion: India must respond by competing, not imitating. One China is not just a neighboring state, it is the most dominant actor shaping the strategic landscape of the 21st century. 2. India must approach China strategically, not emotionally, and understand its strengths and weaknesses in equal measure. 3. By analyzing China's success and limitations, India must find its own path rather than replicate China's model. Key messages: recognize China's strengths but do not replicate its weaknesses. Leverage India's democratic legitimacy and institutional trust as global advantages. If China leads with scale, India must lead with trust. Final message: India does not need to become China. It must grow into a powerful and trusted nation in its own way. While China expands its influence, India is gaining the world's trust. The great competition of the 21st century will be decided not by scale but by values. Please subscribe and set the notification.